Shauntel Ambrose, and I'm a dentist, and I host a healthcare business podcast that shares tips from the healthcare industry leaders. So, whether you're a startup or needing a push in the right direction, a family business, or just looking for mentorship, join us. It's Chantal again, and I have an important guest in our studio today. It's Dr. Karjieker. He goes by a very he says, just call me Aska, just call me Dr. K. Very, very personable nature. I want to talk a little bit about all of your expertise before we start. So, you are a doctor that specialized in ENT, and you're working now in Barnard Hospital as well as Vincent Palloti Hospital in Cape Town. You have had some experience abroad as well. And I'm singing your praises today because I am part of a group that you are at the forefront of in terms of new ways to deal with how teeth come into contact with breathing and how that changes the way we see and treat our patients at a collaborative level. So you're here today to talk about what your love jobs are, it looks like. So you specialize particularly in adult snoring, in obstructive sleep apnea, in sinus diseases, and you do a lot of medical, surgical management, CPAP management for general pediatric ENT. So welcome.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I'm honored that you invited me here.
So, Doc, listen, I would love for our audience to hear a little bit about how you got into medicine and what led you onto the journey of specializing for ENT.
We all do what we like, and medicine, it was just something that happened. I took circuitous route, did 1 year BSc, did 2 years in Medunsa, far north somewhere, and then into UCT. But for my internship here, this book is interesting. My first 2 months were in ENT, and no one, because everyone gets to do so, people per year do that, right? So the first day I arrived at the morning, and the registrar, who's now the prof of the ENT, tells me, "Hey, it's Saturday morning. You're the intern. You can go home. We'll see you Monday." I said, "This I like." It was a Monday to Friday. I was first on call. I loved it. They taught me a lot. I did a lot of operations. And then the next year I went to the UK, did some ENT work there, and they allowed me to operate there. The thing was, I was only called after midnight twice in 18 months. I said, okay, this is looking, I can live with this, this sort of lifestyle. And then I got drawn to it, I ended up specializing. And even after I specialized, I worked in the UK for a couple of years, and I just gravitated towards snoring. So not everyone was one of my colleagues. We all like certain things like head and neck or ears. I love snoring. I love helping people feel better and breathe and sleep better, basically. In fact, I'm more of a sleep person, sorting all the peripheral issues, and a lot of things go unrecognized. And I like picking up underlying causes. I don't like slapping on it to get to the underlying cause, institute some interventions, medical, surgical, or divine. And then, you help the person, and the person must leave you without just said something, dancing to them, whatever. They must leave happier or feeling better than when they came into the rooms. That's basically me in a nutshell.
Well, it's wonderful because I think that journey has enlightened so many people. I really admire the collaborative way you're going about doing your work and getting people involved. It is absolutely amazing what you're able to accomplish as a team and a team at large. So I'm really excited to have you on today and to talk about these really, they've been around and people have been doing them, but not in a level of collaboration that you're able to do them in. So the discussion at large at a team to be able to evaluate one patient, is quite significant. So how did you come across wanting to approach now ENT in this multidisciplinary way. And can you give us some of those benefits that you've seen for the patients and for your staff and for the teams at large?
To share the airway. So in the past, I've always myself and the anesthetist to share the airway and the maxillofacial surgeon. Then I found a whole lot of people, and a lot of them didn't know what they did. Okay, they could not buy facial therapy and even a chiropractor. I didn't know how they could help the airway. And now I do. This meeting, about last week, we all sat on the table. It wasn't about one person or one woman, and we gave everyone a chance to present on how they contribute to the area. To me, it was fascinating. In fact, I thought that should have been a bigger meeting, and we're actually planning a bigger, more educational kind of CPD meeting in the new year. But I just find all these, call them friends and colleagues now, who can call on that extra help, if I need extra help with the airway.
Listen, I think that your businesses that you've also associated with is something that's so critical. We've had the experience post COVID that people seem to present more just in terms of private practice with having really quite significant changes in the way they're sleeping, in sinuses, I've referred more patients currently in private practice than I probably have within the last 5 to 6 years for tonsillectomies
Yeah,
and just referrals to the ENT.
yeah.
And I just wanted to know now what really are the benefits to having a tonsillectomy versus your adenoids out, and does this improve breathing at all? Does it have any basis on that airway? What's your experience in that?
So let's go back to I'm not a businessman, but I like catchphrases. So, I've got breathe right and right. I've also got eat right and hear right, in the practice. Breathe right is trying to draw attention to the fact that mouth breathing is illegal. You never breathe into your mouth. You can exhale in is through the nose. So drawing attention that a lot of people live with mouth breathing, they have the kids' mouth breathing for a long, long time without knowing the long term. Then you end up by being just to orthodontist for braces when it could have been some prevention even a few years before. Sometimes they even work away, but I like people, so if you see something, do something or educate yourself. A lot of parents are very wary about operations, and obviously, just you have to be wary. But if you have a child, for example, who's sitting with their mouth open all the time, the teeth can't meet, and the occlusion is bad, because the teeth get skewed basically, you know, you can have braces, but you must treat the underlying cause. Otherwise, you stick the braces on, they still mouth breathing, then you fail a very expensive, long 18 months treatment. So it's a collaborative thing. So I don't get enough referrals, to be honest. Like, get the GP to put the patient word of mouth. We see an area we could do a lot more referrals from dentists or speaking to each other at least. So this is a way of doing that.
Yeah, listen, when we do that referral, we're really just basing it on, for the main part, what the patient is telling us and, how many infections they've had, and then we just move it on. But
Yeah.
we don't really get involved at, being able to really find out what the background of that ended up as. And I think that being able to speak together pre and post patients, we're able to learn just so much more. We're able to support each other in that space.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about Breathe Right and Sleep
What's the
Right?
underlying cause? But besides saying you need braces, you must say you need braces, customers get your nerves with it out. So you're going to link things together and keep the underlying cause. So yeah, so if between kids and adults, kids are about easy. Majority of the cases, doesn't add noise, take them out, normalize it away. Just add noise even for that reason. Most things will improve. The last 18 months that you've seen also post-COVID, allergies have just gone through the roof. Even right now in Cape, the pollen count is high. It usually starts around April and September. This year it was March, August. People started suffering, which I suppose is good for me because you get to see better. So the kids are easy adenoids tonsils. I've seen a lot more children with allergies now. But in the past, once the adenoids are out, the ear infection cleared up. You can see them again, fantastic. Nowadays, I'm seeing kids with again ear infections, but not an allergy based also. Something has changed, shifted in the last 18 months. And then adults also are suffering. And people don't like to connect something simple like a nasal spray can keep your nose under control. Then people hear the big steroid word gets scared. But I tell them, look, I use a spray. Good enough for me, good enough for you. And this was just reassuring. But then the end game is to wake up. You shouldn't wake up with a dry mouth. These are golden questions. Do you wake up with a dry mouth? Do you wake up tired? Do you get up to wee at night? So you ladies get up to wee at night, sure. But the average male shouldn't get up to wee at night. That's a clue that the airway is disturbed, the breathing is disturbed, and as a result, being disturbed. So if you don't breathe right, you don't eat right. And then if you add into that, eat right. So my summary is breathe right, eat right, sleep right. So if your nose is open, medically or surgically, if you don't eat late at night, because if you eat and go to sleep and the acid comes up and disturbs your sleep and you wake up while speaking, you think you're dying, but you're not. It's a bit of reflux. So you breathe right a bit earlier, you will then sleep right. That's quality of sleep. Then under sleep tips, a lot of people are on sleeping tablets, right? So before you hit a sleeping tablet, you must make sure your caffeine intake stops the lead time. Because caffeine works in your body 6 to 8 hours, sometimes longer. Stops you falling asleep, makes you wake up at 2. Like a lot of people, when I ask that question, if there's insomnia, and they aren't sleeping tablets, but they're having coffee at 8 o'clock. I would rather stop the coffee actually than go on sleeping tablets. So I like to get this basic knowledge out to everyone. I tell my patients, you guys can teach snorers. These plays are over the country. You can tell people don't need to learn. You can tell them that they can be English. It's just a general education thing. Anyone can do it actually. So, but by the time they come to me, then I can go to plan B or C or whatever. But these simple tips. So the simple tips are breathe right, eat right, sleep right. I want to get out to my primary referral, GPs and dentists, or anyone else who's interested in the airway. Just to educate people. There's so much of that. And people live with blocked noses. People live with a bad night's sleep. You don't have to do this. There are simple things that can help you.
I've seen that you've also recommended a few ways to be able to observe these changes. Now, we go about our daily activities and we see our patients, and at the most point, we're moving from just not only diagnosing what they're coming in with in terms of their symptoms, but looking at cause related, sort of being able to treat them at a basis of knowing what is causing. And so once you eradicate that, you're able to actually serve them at such a high level. Just even as a dentist, we're looking at decayed teeth or we're looking at crooked teeth. But it's never been a thought process that has, taken a significant part of your treatment plan to consider what their airway is doing. Where are they breathing from? Are they snoring? While they're sitting in your chair, are their lips closed? What does that rest position look like? It's just, even the parents will come, they have an idea. They have these dark circles under their eyes. They have an idea that there's an allergy, but they don't have any idea what their sleep was like. And I'll say, listen, do you have a wet pillow? And pillowcase wet, or do you have any spit that's on your pillowcase? So they see the signs, but it never really registers as something that we need to fix, and that has anything to do with the teeth or any long-term sort of disease. I think it can cause further issues down the line. And I can't tell you how many people we have that are now diagnosed with this ADD or just too tired. We don't ask the questions any longer of, so what does that sleep look like, and what does the eating look like, and when is the last meal? So what are the questions that we're missing, Doc? What are the questions that really are going to help us support our patients a little bit better? And just as parents, if you're able to see that, then you also know that, listen, maybe I need to actually go and make an appointment and check to see if there's something that I can do about that.
So I think there's quite a few tips there. So attention deficit, a lot of even the adults actually are not sleeping well from a quality point of view. Right. So you've got to ask about disturbed sleep, waking up to come to the parents' bedroom a few times a night. Because if you go to sleep better by destroying normal airway, the overtiredness in the disappears and the attention improves. So you can see these kids, they're all over the place. So from a clinician point of view, the kids are all over the place. You can't pin them down. They won't sit. There's subtle things like that. Another clinical thing can do when you guys are sitting in someone's mouth, basically, is to gag very easy. So easy gagging is most likely reflux. Because it's very sensitive at the back of the throat. If they ask me to take breaks while you're putting in their mouths, then they can't breathe properly through the nose while working in the mouth. So that's where I'm trying to educate people that I speak to about becoming better clinicians. So picking up and even spotting it a mile off. So if you look at a patient and you see a line across the nose, it's called the allergic crease. It's called allergic crease because they've been doing the allergic salute, which is that, from a itchy nose point of view. Then you most likely see rings around the eyes, a bit of problem. Then you can ask them, do you wake up with a dry mouth? Yes. Do you wake up tired? So it links onto that. And one thing that's quite gentle is syndrome and double joint issue, TMJ. You guys see it. I see it a lot. So I see it as lots of earache with normal programs. Right? Then I just touch the joint over here. It's sore. Then it links me to blocked nose mouth breathing. So there's a link between blocked nose mouth breathing and TMJ. So it's about one stones and red flags. So after the talk, I want you to leave with red flags. So you can't know everything about everything. I don't know everything about everything. But you pick up some red flags. You see a young male with high blood pressure, you must think sleep apnea. And that you would ask the patient also, not just the medical GP. You know? So it's very important to get people sleeping right, adults or kids. Then there's sleep quality and sleep quantity. Sleep quality is the obstruction in the timing of the eating, the reflux, and the blocked nose mouth. And sleep quantity, people actually voluntarily sleep enough hours, or they having some caffeine and they're not falling asleep early. And then you get the more complex sleep disorders, which I know about. I'll go to someone within our group who does sleep problems. So it's a very big field, but from what you and I are talking about today, it's breathe right, sleep right. And then go wash.
I want to ask, early on in the show, I had somebody that was talking about taping, where with mouth breathing now there's a tape that you can put over that will assist with the lip closure and just assist with now, forcing you to actually use your inhalation through your nasal passages and, getting that process back. So what's your take on that?
Yeah. I've got this thing about my it just makes no sense at all. It's not natural, not sexy. It's not normal. Okay. So I would rather restore normal nasal breathing than put a tape in my mouth. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And you've got to have some science behind whatever you do or say. And that's what some of the applied medical interventions maybe fail or lack. So even at talking here, I'm happy for everyone to bring all the inputs, but there must be some scientific backup. Otherwise, you won't get the buy-in from the rest of the your medical fraternity. Because you're supposed to work on some sort of scientific basis. It's a practice to be doing your own thing and say, well, I did this and this for me. You've got to have some science behind it. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced. I'd rather people know. People who have low bone with the jaws, or a neuromuscular problem where they consciously do it, right? Then yes, I might say so too. But you can do multiple exercises, I'm sure, or foot nose, but not taping.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate that because it's nice to hear different opinions because each of us teach and treat our patients just based on really our level of experience, what our special interest is, and what our focus is. So I appreciate that. So I'm wanting to know, there's a lot of discussion that has gone past the point of post-COVID complications and them causing a lot of immunological as well as sinus related complications. What's your experience been since we've gotten back into the normal flow of things post COVID?
Yeah, I don't think you can blame COVID, the virus itself. People were indoors a lot, but the environments changed when they came out again. But in the environment change and things get worse, and that could be just normal uh, evolution over time of what happens in the environment. Um, Didn't lose much sleep about it. I think if people are recognizing symptoms and treating it, um, then I don't blame too much on COVID itself or vaccines or anything like that. I do stick to the year now. If something, so I've got to be simple. If the infectious disease consultant says COVID causes this, does that, I believe that is their thing. So I'll go to where the source is and who's got the most knowledge. So far, yeah, no one said anything like that.
Yeah, listen, I just had a flashback of, early on in my career, I was invited to a team that one of the ENTs that were close to our practice invited me to do some dental work for a patient, and he was doing thyroid cancer at the time, and it was my first real exposure to now doing dental work at that level, and
Mm,
it was quite an expansive lesion. I
mm,
was not expecting it, to say the least. And I must say, the sophistication of being able to manage an airway when you have such limited space
mm,
is absolutely remarkable. I cannot tell you how impressed I am by what most of you are able to do. It is not an easy feat. People don't really realize how small the cavities are in which we are working in order to get this right,
yeah,
with some level of predictability each and every time for every patient.
yeah,
And each patient's sort of symptoms and what you require to actually treat them is so different. Now, I want to know, how do you bring that team together? Because I remember I was lucky. The ENT that I was with, was very supportive. He gave me a little bit of space. He says, try this route, because we just couldn't get enough access in order to get the dental work easily done. It was significant. Probably some of my most difficult work I've done in my 20 years within my career was at that case.
mm.
So, how do you get your team on board? How do you choose the right team? How do you keep them motivated and able to work together to come to that end goal?
I don't think you always get to choose unless you go look for yourself. I think you must always be looking up for people who have similar interests. And you must travel to the area it goes. And I went to Denmark recently just for a conference in the middle of nowhere in Denmark because I knew five of the top smoking guys were there for that. So you must travel wherever. Always be looking out for people and someone shows a bit of shine, a bit of interest, get them in. And if they want to, like you want to do better, be better, and do something different, then so if you're fortunate to get the right person and you gel and then you form a team. In my practice, it's solo. So in theatre, it's me operating the anesthetist. So we got a fixed team of anesthetists we have. We just do airways. So we don't script for much because we're expecting the worst anyway. You can imagine someone who's been locked up really big and overweight. Can be quite dicey, but you're a good anesthetist, and then you will try a few initially, and you just take the coolest, calmest person who doesn't panic, and that's the person you keep on. So our team of leaders are like, and some people tell you, oh, they don't want to, not comfortable doing a case like that. You can ask them back. But that's also, but you're always looking, but there are people out there who want to do something different, want to be better at something. So they are the images. And to keep people motivated, in the office, I think as long as, like I said, the team is leaving the consulting room happier that something is said or planned or anything, that keeps the vibe in the office good, and everyone feels something positive is happening. You're going to get the unhappy person now and again. Okay, that's just going to happen now and again. But every patient isn't unhappy, your immediate office staff is fine. Nursing staff can be home because they keep changing our theatre staff all the time, and you want the same person, because when you want to put your hand out, or your pen is going a bit hairy, you want some experience there. But if you keep whispering to the manager, oh, this person is good, that person is good, they end up putting you in the same team, and then seeing things as well. But you want consistency in the team for sure. You can't be chopping and changing of the staff, theatre staff, and users all the time. You want the consistent team. And the people just know that people are out there, and they'll gravitate towards it.
Listen, I have a bit of a background in ethics, and I've been hosting workshops and speaking with ethics related information. We find that just to be able to choose your team right and communicate is such a big part of what we do, other than just patient management. And I often ask the question of, what would you love to receive from your dentist? A dentist that's sending you a referral. What do you want that referral to look like, and what do we need to really keep in mind that is essential information to you? This is really part and parcel. It's very different for each and every practice. But just from your perspective, what would be the ideal sort of referral letter?
It's actually very simple. I told you in the beginning, mouth breathing is illegal. You can't just let a person mouth breathe and word affect them in some way or another, whether they know it or not. The thing. A lot of people live with mouth breathing because it's been happening since they bumped their noses, many, many years ago. And they don't, until I say, are you tired in the morning? Is you exercising? You're not putting as much of it as you could. Ask the right question, then things that come along. So you could just say, marketing is illegal, send them for an assessment. It can be that simple.
Yeah. Listen, I think that we have a lot of demanding patients that we come across from time to time in peds, and we sometimes we'll have a very enthusiastic mums where they just have a little child, and they themselves are not able to get on with their work and with their daily activities, and the sinusitis now and the earache is really getting to them.
Yeah.
But it's not enough for them to present themselves to go and get it checked out, so they really look for that script, or they look for, can we not wait? How do you deal with this at large? When
That's a good question. So no, I'm very clear. We got criteria, we got the numbers to work on based on science. Because both of that something goes wrong, and I've taken someone's tonsils out for one infection only, then I'm going to be all difficult. So why do you take it out for one infection only? So if a colleague of mine wants to do it, fine, but I'm not going to do it. So you extend to the person, we had our fixed criteria, I do 2 or 3 infections in 1 year, isn't the end of the world. But lead number 3, number 4, I'm going to take it out. So we do it by the book, by the numbers. And most people understand that. For example, also the child had tonsils with bleeding. Now tell them there's no symptoms. They say, I'm not touching, I will just ignore the tonsils, even though they're huge. Also, for example, we make chance upon someone who on a CT scan has a deviated septum, but no nasals, no mouth bleeding, nothing. So I will treat the symptom, don't treat the scan. So you can change someone's symptoms. That's the ultimate aim is to improve their symptoms, no matter what the scan shows. So yeah, you got to stick by the book because medical legally, around to something goes wrong, and things very seldom and very rarely go wrong, thank God. But you can be hold over the calls if you learn something by the book. So it's very simple parts.
I think that it's really necessary to be able to have that conversation and just let them know that these are the options for their safety. It's not really for anything else, even though it does cause the inconvenience of ups and downs in daily existence. Now, I'm wanting to know, we're talking a lot about children, but adults suffer with the same issues. Maybe they won't come to us for adult orthodontics, but I often will get somebody sit in my dental chair and say, my husband has kept me up the whole night snoring, and I can't cope any longer. So
Yeah.
are you able to help, even with somebody like that?
So there's two things there. Your orthodontic patients who are growing up on our adult, if you don't restore the normal levels of breathing, their teeth will go out of place again. So you need to monitor that. It's the underlying cause. The snorers, like I said, I love snorers. And I love to get this information out. Plan A is very simple. Plan A is just a nasal spray, don't eat late. In 2 weeks' time, you're either going to stop snoring. If you stop snoring, fantastic, you know what to do. Don't stop. You can see one of us and really get to the next level, which can be, like I said, we very fixed plans, medical, surgical device. Okay. I'm not a big fan of devices. It's just something simple we can do surgically or medically. Because I wouldn't like a device and to be hooked up to a CPAP machine for the rest of your life. Most of my patients will agree they don't want it, but certain people need it. If they're overweight, which they need it. If they have heart problems, they need it. But I like to have all the options at hand. So unfortunately, it does end up being who did you get to see first? So if you get to see a physician or a medical person, they might say, okay, go straight for the CPAP. If you come to
Okay.
us on our team, we say, okay, now what options do we have? And CPAP, sure, I explain to them, it works pretty well, but then you look at the machine, is to like, maybe we can try this first. So I would I'll give them a plan and see, and we go through this and explain to them. And even you go for the surgical route, what is an option? Operation. I tell them, and it's a hurdle to get through. I'll help you through the hurdle. It's not pain involved. I'll give you suitable medication that I'll do through this. The patient choice, and that comes with experience. So, yeah, nothing beats experience also, but you must have your scientific background. So I can't invent information. I haven't read person myself. So either someone else has done it, I'm not doing it, or I've done the research myself. So yeah, but everything must come to scientific sources plus experience, being a good clinician, and everyone must be a good clinician, from the general practitioner, medical, dental. Just look for the obvious signs. So when I educate people, even at this talk that I'll give next year to the whole group, that's basically about red flags. Red flags, what to look at or what to spot, And we can treat adults and kids very simply. But plan A, nasal spray, then you'll be amazed how much snoring can get to improve just by not eating late. So for example, if you go sleep at 10 or 10:30, go and eat after 8. Just have water. Very simple. Hard to do, but you will sleep so much better if you go to bed in the empty stomach. There's a cheat. It's the end of Leonard's holiday. So if you do eat a bit late, the cheetahs will get hooked on. You have a snack else in advance. Eat quite liquid. Put a slug of that after you eat late. Forms a lid over your food or nibble, and then something coming up. And then you mentioned tests before. We didn't speak about that. This is a very nice app called Snore Lab. So you watch and the speakers will tell you information also, but I like Snore Lab. The Snore Lab records you overnight. You get to hear what you're doing overnight. Then you get a graph on how loud you are. So generally I tell patients on the first night you record 2 weeks later, then you'll see a change in the graph if plan A is working for you. So then they WhatsApp me the screenshot and you can see how it improves. The Snore Lab is a good one. The more some formal tests are sleep studies, which will actually tell you how many times per hour you community of people that you can refer to and sort things out. But it means you end up treating the patient holistically, and that isn't done enough. So like I said, now amazed that I've got this group of people to call on. So this it's not just me or the GP or the dentist. I've got my official chiropractor, physiotherapist, everyone to call on with the expertise in the patient. And I like to think that was my expertise to call on as well. So don't just go into running the mills. Always think, how can we do things a little bit better? How can we make this patient's life a bit better? Not just by making them smile better or smile right, should I say? But whatever is happening in the area is going to impact their sleep. So people who sleep right have a good day. The bad sleep day, the good sleep good day. So it all circles back to sleep, actually.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time and congratulations. I'm really excited for what you're starting up. So well done.
Thank you, very kind of you.
We have covered starting up and how to turn your vision into a business. And in our future episodes, we look at leadership, we look at multi-practice success. Now, I'm grateful for you, and I would love to hear your ideas. What questions do you need answered? Please drop me a mail at behindasmile2@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and remember, you are heard, you are seen, and on this platform, you are invited. Let's make it happen together.